Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video we're gonna be doing a little bit something different. So I've seen a lot of YouTubers do a mid-year book tag or mid-year freak out, so I thought I would just go ahead and join. Well, back here are most of my books. As you can see, a book wall system that's definitely kind of a messy system, but I saw Haley Pham do it like this, where she did her book shelf situation. She just kind of picked out in the spur of the moment the answers to the questions, so I thought that sounds fun, so I'm probably gonna do that too. By the way, if you're new here, my name is Karen and I do a lot of books, fashion, lifestyle content. If any of that of interest to you, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Now let's get started with the video. Now I have a feeling I'm probably gonna regret this system because a lot of the books are probably in the bottom and stuff like that, so I'm gonna have to like move the shelves around, but we'll make it work. So here are some of the questions that I have to answer for this video. So the first question is, what is the best book you've read so far in 2022? The best book that I think I read this year, that's tough because I did read a lot of really good books, but if I had to pick one, it would be Birdie by fashionYouTuber. If I'm totally honest, this is my favorite book by her. Not even her romance books can top this for me. I should definitely write more thriller books because she definitely does this well, so I will have to go with this one. But then I feel like there's other really good books that I read this summer, this first part of the year, so let me see if I can find another one. So I'm kind of gonna take that back because this is definitely the best book that I read this year. Is The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, and then probably Verity, because this series has me so freaking hooked. We'll talk about it later. Next question is, what is the best sequel you've read in 2022? I only read, I think, one sequel book, and I wouldn't call it the best, but I'll show you guys which one it was. This is the only sequel that I read. The first part of this year is called 9 Days and Nights by Katie Cotugno, and this is the sequel for 99 Days. If I'm totally honest, the first book was definitely way better than this one. I feel like they really rushed this one. As you can tell, the sequel is way shorter, which makes sense. I just really didn't like how much they rushed it. So this is the only one that I read. I wouldn't call it the best, but it is the only one that I read. First book, you kind of have to read the second one to see what happens to the main characters and what ends up actually closing up the storyline. But yeah, this is the only sequel that I read this year. Skin new release you haven't read yet but you want to look for this one, because off the top of my mind right now I can't really think of a new release book that I haven't read. Okay, so this actually was sent to me by the publisher. It is a new release, got it before the public got it. Does that make sense? Anyways, is Maggie Moves On by Lucy Score. I've heard that a lot of people really like this author, and yeah, I'm excited to read this because it's just a super cute romance. She's also a YouTuber like me, and cover is really freaking cute, so actually matches my shirt to that. But yeah, this is a new release that I haven't read yet, but I'm excited to read. So Maggie Moves On by Lucy Score. Quick coffee break because talking about books makes me thirsty. Question number 4 is asking most anticipated release for the second half of 2022. That will have to be The Final Gambit, which is the book number 3 of the Inheritance Games series. And honestly guys, that's probably my favorite series of all time that I've read, and I cannot wait for that book. I'm gonna put the cover over here. I can't wait for that book. It's coming out next month. I'm about to pre-order. Next question is kind of tricky because I know this is gonna spark a controversial conversation, but it's asking, well, the biggest disappointment for the first half of this year. So I'll go ahead and tell you and show you my biggest disappointment books wise was the first half of the year. This is probably the most disappointing read I've had. That used to be one really anticipated book for me. It was probably my most anticipated read for this first half of the year, and I was looking forward to this book forever. I even pre-ordered it, but that will have to be Book Lovers by Emily Henry. This book was my biggest disappointment, mainly because I was looking forward to it so much, and then when I actually read it, I was like, I just read 400 pages of nothing pretty much. I know that's harsh, but I really like Beach Read. I really like her writing style. I will still continue to purchase the books that she releases, but this one just really let me down. So I have 2 biggest surprises so far. I think I'm probably gonna have one more, but I can't really talk about it because I'm currently reading that book. But a big surprise for me was this new release book called Every Summer After by Carly Fortune. I started seeing a lot of my fellow booktubers talk about this book everywhere, and I was like, I need to get that. It was summertime, and it's like, that sounds like a book that I would really enjoy, so I should probably just get it. I went into it with no expectations. I was like, I don't know, you know, I'm probably not gonna like it. But if you like Love and Other Words, if you like 99 Days, which is a book that I've talked about here a lot, and if you like Some I Turn Pretty, you'll love this book. I know there's like a trope that a lot of people don't like on it, but I loved it. It's fiction, let's face it. Also, a lot of people compare this to People We Meet on Vacation. I haven't finished that book, although I'm almost done with it. Also, I don't want to talk about it. It's not, I don't see it, if I'm totally honest, but I'll add that on here. Then another big surprise, I don't know if my voice just went down like that, that's awkward. But another big surprise is this book, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. Also saw this one. Look at me being lazy and not taking the Target sticker off. A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. This is a murder mystery, my first and only murder mystery. This is a series. I have not finished the second book, but the first book was surprisingly good, and it did kind of surprise me that I even connected with this genre a lot, because I usually am a thriller person, a romance person. I didn't think I was gonna like this. Next question, and I kind of want to move on, is asking new favorite author. I have to kind of think about that for a sec. I'm gonna mention 2 authors. I don't think they're new authors, but they're new to me. So one of them will definitely be Carly Fortune. I really like that book, and I'm kind of looking forward to whatever else she might write. And then there is this thriller author that I recently discovered. She writes a lot of thriller books, and I'm actually going through them pretty fast and enjoying them, and her name is Frida McFadden. I'm really enjoying her thriller books, and I think I'm kind of entering my thriller era. So yeah, those will be 2 authors that I'm really enjoying right now. Then it's asking newest fictional crush. I'm trying to think. There's a lot of like really good book boyfriends that, you know, we kind of go through here. Go ahead and be very basic and say Conrad from The Summer I Turned Pretty. Really like his character. I know a lot of people are Team Jeremiah, but I really like Conrad. Then we have newest favorite character. That's a good question. Backward that I don't remember her name, but I'll tell you right now what's my new favorite character. You know I'm obsessed with this series, so I have to say Avery Graham's from this book. I freaking love her character, maybe because I like this series so much, but I'm gonna pick her. This one is asking book that made you cry. I'm gonna have to go with No book. I haven't had a book that's made me cry at all, honestly. So yeah, I'm sorry, I don't really like reading sad books. Why will I read sad books? Then it's asking book that made you happy. That's an easy answer. I'll have to go with My Turn Pretty. This book was just summer in a book. I freaking loved it. The first book, at least, I really liked it. And yeah, this book made me really happy. Then we've got most beautiful book you bought this year. So this is kind of embarrassing. There is a really beautiful book I bought this year. I have not read it. It's actually a classic. I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. This is probably the most beautiful book I've bought this year. Is Pride and Prejudice copy, Jane Austen book. You probably know this book, and I mean, you should know this book. I have not read it. I started, I'm like 20 pages in, cannot get through it. Maybe someday I'll get into Jane Austen, but love the copy, and eventually I want to have a collection of classic books, so this is the first one for the collection. I only answer one more question over here, and that will be what books you really want to read by the end of this year. I'll show you guys a few of the books that I do really want to read by the end of this year. So one of these books is actually kind of a spoiler for a video that I'm already working on, but first book is actually 2 of them. Beautiful World, Where Are You by Sally Rooney. Then we've got Float by Katie Marchant. And then we've got A Court of Thorns and Roses. Surprise, I'm reading Sarah J. Maas. Very much so enjoying it so far. I'll talk about this in another video that I'm already working on. But yeah, those are some books that I really want to read this year. And that brings us to the end of this video. This was actually really fun. I'm gonna try and do this at the end of the year, like the second half of the year. I think it's a really fun video. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know down in the comments what you think about my selections or what you're reading. I love to hear what you guys are reading. Make sure to hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.